For thousands of years, bread was literally called the staff of life. It sustained entire civilizations, fueled armies, powered the construction of cathedrals that still stand today, and kept families alive through the harshest winters. In 1324, in a small village outside York, England, the average peasant ate 2 to 3 pounds of bread every single day, accounting for roughly 70% of their total calories. These were not sedentary office workers. These were men and women who hauled stones, plowed fields with oxen, harvested grain by hand, and built structures that have outlasted empires. Subscribe and comment for more ancient videos. Thanks for help us. They thrived on bread. No widespread diabetes, no epidemic of celiac disease, no millions reporting chronic bloating, brain fog, joint pain, or fatigue after eating a slice. Fast forward to 2026. 1 in 3 American adults is now pre-diabetic or diabetic. Celiac disease diagnoses have increased by over 400% since the 1950s. Non-celiac gluten sensitivity affects tens of millions more, with symptoms ranging from digestive distress to neurological issues. Obesity rates have tripled. Autoimmune conditions linked to gut permeability, leaky gut, are skyrocketing. Your grandfather ate bread his entire life without issue. Your children struggle with it. What changed was not human biology. What changed was the bread itself. Modern supermarket bread is not bread. It is an industrialized, ultra-processed food product engineered for maximum shelf life, minimum cost, and maximum profit, not for nutrition, digestibility, or human health. The medieval peasant you've been taught to pity actually understood something profound about wheat and bread that the modern food industry has deliberately obscured. Real bread, properly grown, milled, and fermented, is one of the most complete, digestible, and sustaining foods humans have ever created. Industrial bread is the opposite. This text examines the transformation in exhaustive detail, the wheat varieties themselves, milling methods, fermentation practices, chemical additives, glycemic impact, nutritional stripping, and the deliberate choices made by agribusiness that turned bread from nourishment into a metabolic disruptor. It also provides practical guidance on how to return to real bread, heritage grains, stone milling, long fermentation, and why doing so can restore what modern processing destroyed. In medieval England, France, Germany, and Scandinavia, bread was the cornerstone of the diet. Peasant households consumed 2 to 3 pounds per person daily, providing 60 to 80% of calories. This was not luxury white bread. It was dark, dense, whole-grain loaves made from whatever wheat, rye, barley, or mixed grains the local soil produced. Wheat varieties. Medieval farmers grew landrace wheats, locally adapted populations with genetic diversity. Einkorn, Triticum monococcum, emmer, Triticum dicoccum, and spelt, Triticum spelta, were widespread. These ancient grains had simpler genomes. That extra genetic complexity in modern wheat introduced new gluten proteins, especially gliadin fractions, that many immune systems now react to. A 2014 study from the University of Florence found that people with non-celiac gluten sensitivity tolerated einkorn bread with virtually no symptoms, while modern wheat triggered bloating, pain, and fatigue in the same individuals. Medieval mills were stone querns or water-powered millstones. Grinding was slow and cool, preserving the wheat germ's delicate oils. The entire kernel, bran, germ, endosperm, was ground together. Flour retained fiber, healthy fats, B vitamins, magnesium, zinc, iron, and selenium. No bleaching, no enrichment with synthetic vitamins. Medieval bakers used wild yeast and lactic acid bacteria. Dough fermented 12-24 hours or longer. This long, slow process predigested gluten proteins, making them less immunogenic. Neutralized phytic acid, an anti-nutrient that binds minerals. Reduced lectins and enzyme inhibitors that irritate the gut. produced lactic and acetic acids that lowered glycemic impact. The result was bread with a low to moderate glycemic index, sustained energy, no rapid spikes or crashes, and high bioavailability of nutrients. Peasants worked 12 14-hour days in fields without blood sugar crashes because their bread was real food. In the 1960s, Norman Borlaug's miracle wheat, semi-dwarf varieties, tripled yields, prevented famines, and earned him the Nobel Peace Prize. But the focus was yield per acre, not nutrition or digestibility. Modern bread wheat, Triticum aestivum, has 42 chromosomes and altered gluten proteins. The gliadine fraction, especially 33-mer peptide, is more resistant to digestion and triggers stronger immune responses in susceptible people. A 2013 University of Kansas study showed modern wheat elicits significantly higher IgA and IgG responses than heritage varieties in gluten-sensitive individuals. Chemical load. Modern wheat is treated with herbicides, especially pre-harvest desiccation with glyphosate, Roundup, fungicides, insecticides, and fertilizers. Glyphosate residues appear in 70% plus of non-organic wheat products, 2018 testing. Glyphosate disrupts gut microbiota, impairs tight junctions, leaky gut, and is classified as a probable carcinogen, WHO IRC. Medieval wheat grew in manure-enriched rotated fields, no chemicals. Roller milling, 1870s onward, replaced stone grinding. Steel rollers run at high speed and temperature, stripping bran and germ to prevent rancidity and extend shelf life. The result, white flour that is nearly pure starch, with 80% of nutrients, fiber, fats, vitamins, minerals, removed. Enrichment adds back synthetic versions of only a few nutrients, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, iron, but not the full spectrum. Commercial bread is mixed, risen, and baked in 2 to 3 hours using fast-acting commercial yeast. No time for natural fermentation to break down anti-nutrients. Additives include high fructose corn syrup, extra sugar spike, mono and diglycerides, emulsifiers, calcium propionate, preservative, azotocarbonamide, dough conditioner, also used in yoga mats. The final product has a glycemic index of 70-75, higher than table sugar's 65, causes rapid blood glucose spikes, insulin surges, and crashes, leaving you hungry again in an hour. Since the 1960s-1970s, Green Revolution wheat plus industrial processing widespread, type 2 diabetes rates increased 700% in the U.S. Celiac disease diagnoses rose 400% plus. Non-celiac gluten sensitivity reports exploded. Obesity tripled. Autoimmune gut disorders, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, surged. Studies, 2014. Italian trial, IBS patients. 80% improved on einkorn sourdough versus modern bread. University of Florence, 2015. Einkorn bread produced lower glucose insulin spikes than modern wheat bread. 2018 glyphosate studies. Residues linked to gut dysbiosis and leaky gut. Medieval peasants ate 2-3 lbs of slow-fermented whole-grain bread daily and showed no metabolic or autoimmune epidemics. The difference was not activity level, it was the food. Practical solutions. Return to real bread. 1. Source heritage grain bread. Seek bakers using einkorn, emmer, spelt, or heritage wheat. Require stone-ground flour and long, 12-24 plus HR, natural fermentation, sourdough. Farmers markets, artisan bakeries, or online, e.g. Bread Alone, Josie Baker Bread, local sourdough co-ops. 2. Bake your own. Buy heritage flour, Jovial Foods, Central Milling, Bluebird Grain Farms. Maintain a sourdough starter, wild yeast plus lactic bacteria. Mix dough night before. Ferment 12 to 24 hours. Bake at home. Control ingredients completely. Replace with whole, minimally processed grains. Soaked fermented oats, barley, quinoa, buckwheat. Focus on vegetables, legumes, nuts, eggs, meat, dairy. Foods less altered by industry. Medieval bread was food, whole, slow-fermented, nutrient-dense, digestible. Modern industrial bread is a product, stripped, chemically treated, fast-risen, inflammatory. The peasant with his dark loaf was not primitive. He was working with a perfected system. We traded that system for convenience, yield, and profit. The secret was never lost. Heritage grains still exist. Stone mills still operate. Sourdough starters still ferment. Real bread is still possible. It requires time, care, and rejection of the industrial shortcut, but it nourishes instead of harms. Choose real bread. Reclaim what they buried. Your gut and your health will thank you.